Muchísimas gracias, hermanito. Gracias.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the First Mill podcast. Super excited today. We have a very, very special guest, UFC fighter, Daniel Zellhuber in the building. How you doing, Daniel?
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you very much for inviting me to the podcast. I really appreciate the opportunity. And good, really good.
I think just really quick background story on how all this happened. We came, first off, I saw your fight against Prado. That's when I was became a fan right away.
Thank
so
you, bro.
I saw that, and then I met you at the fight. What fight was it? Where I met Cesar too, the last one in Vegas.
Oh, in T-Mobile.
T-Mobile,
Noche UFC 1.
No, yeah. So we met there, man. We met there, and super cool dude. Humble, took a picture right away. This is why I like going into these events and meeting these fighters, because you could just feel their energy and how humble they are. And I know they're on their rise to UFC titles. They're on their journey to be the best in the world. So this is one of the reasons why it's a pleasure to have you here. I appreciate your time. I know busy schedule. You just showed me your schedule right now. Like, it is jam-packed, guys. It's jam-packed. Like, every single day he's training. He's always training, and Sunday he uses them to relax. Today he chose to be here with us. So I appreciate your time.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, too.
So today, let's get started, man. Let's get started. I want my audience to really get to know you, get to know why I'm a fan. Besides your fighting style, your persona, your character, your journey, what you've been through to get where you are now. Let's start off where you're from originally and what age you started martial arts.
I'm originally from Mexico City. I've been living there my whole life until 22, 23. That's when I moved up to Vegas to start, like a UFC career, doing my fight camps here with my coaches and everything. And how I started in MMA, it's a pretty fun story, because I used to get bullied in elementary school, I guess, when I was like 10 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
So I remember I go back home after classes, like crying with my mother, asking her for not going anymore to the college, because I didn't want to go to school. But she always says to me, like, you know what, like, life doesn't work like that. You need to keep going. You can just quit. So I go through all that. I found martial arts at 12 years old. And one of my main reasons that I stay on martial arts was my first coach, Raul Romero. I trained with him for 12 years. He trained me also for my first UFC fight, Contender Series, and everything. And then it's when I decided to move here because of, in Mexico we don't have like big time MMA gyms.
The resources.
Exactly. So that's why I moved up here. But basically that's how I started.
So what was
in
your
MMA.
first martial art that you got into, or your parents signed you up for?
I started in Muay Thai with him. Raul also fighting K1 in Bellator.
Okay,
So,
good teacher then.
Exactly. It was a very good teacher.
Yes.
And it's funny because I never thought I was going to be a UFC fighter or so.
That wasn't your goal.
No.
You just did it because you were getting bullied, and you're like, I wanted
to train. I wanted to try something new. Then I made a lot of friends training, and so I really never stopped training. And I started like competing in different tournaments and Muay Thai tournaments. Then I started doing Jiu-Jitsu, and then going to Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, stuff like that. And at some point, at 17, my coach was like, hey, there's an opportunity to do a professional fight. You want to do it? And I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. But, I felt that even till my 8th professional fight, I never really
realized that
I was doing a fucking career in MMA,
So you were doing it recreationally. You were just doing it day to day, like, when parents take kids to play soccer, but they weren't really like, we're gonna go pro or nothing. It's more like, oh, well, we'll just see what happens, is to pass time, right? And
exactly.
your parents would take you just to these tournaments too, and you would just kind of compete.
Yeah, and it was really never that serious, I remember going to the tournaments and keep winning. I have like 30 something, 32, 33 amateur fights, and I was just training because I like it, and I didn't have any other thing to do, and my friends were in the gym, so I stay all day in the gym, like after classes, like 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. at night, so I really stay all day in the gym because I like it.
Did you realize that you loved it, or you were just kind of like...
No, it was just like...
What you did is what I do.
Yeah, it's what I do, exactly. And at some point I remember my coach told me like, hey, there's this fight, you want to do it? And I was like, oh, okay. And I remember the league asked me to sign something like, well, not me, because I was 17 years old. So my parents need to sign a waiver, like, if something happened to you, it's your problem. But I remember I was with my parents like, no, it's just another tournament, don't worry. And I remember that time I fought Sergio Vasquez. He was, what, like 28, 20 something, and
Oh,
I
wow,
was
you're
17.
17.
Yeah. So it was a tough
one,
start.
a tough start. Okay. Nice. So you went professional at 17.
Yeah.
Not even
17.
wanting to, really. Just like it just happened,
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah.
That's the funny part, because even at that time we didn't have in Mexico like amateur MMA, so I really didn't have like enough room to try to do more amateur fights.
I
Or
see.
because right now you have like the IMAF, like the
Yeah.
International Federation of MMA, stuff like that. But at that time you didn't have it, so either I stay fighting amateur Muay Thai or I go to the professional MMA, because we didn't have like more
I see.
competition in Mexico. I just made 2 1-round fights.
Yeah.
In Mexico, like amateur MMA fights, just
That's
2
round 1 fights.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so you didn't see the vision just because Mexico soccer is the biggest sport, right? So soccer is the biggest sport, but you could see the vision like, okay, there's a path, there's like what do they call them, the reserves where they train teams, but in MMA, especially in Mexico, I'm sure there's nothing.
Yeah, and here you have wrestling, you have like another activities, but in Mexico you don't have anything.
Yep.
It was just like I like the sport.
Yeah.
And then I was in professional, and I don't know, like I used to go to the events with my coach, to the fights. I
Yeah.
met a lot of cool fighters when I was amateur. I remember I met Alejandro Perez. He fight in the UFC
Yeah.
too, a Mexican fighter. Goyito Perez too. So I remember I met those guys when I was amateur, and I was like, oh, I like
You
what
looked up
they
to
are
them.
doing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I wanted to fight, but I really never thought it was gonna be this serious, you know?
Yeah.
Because at that time I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a professional fighter. I can do this, but never really think what I was going into, you know?
Gotcha. So I know you're probably not gonna feel weird to answer this, but do you think like you were like talented at it, or is it because to some extent, like you're saying, you kind of were just going through the motions, but it kind of led to that, and I'm sure someone saw it. Someone saw like, well, there's some talent, so let's put him in this position where he can probably thrive and realize it.
You know, it's funny because I never thought I was talented in fighting. Actually, it's funny too because my coach in Mexico, he was the one that always getting me into those fights. He was the one that really first believed in me. But for me, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this fight and then this next one, and then after 4 or 5 fights, I signed with Combat Americas. That was the first major league that I get in, and my coach just keep pushing me because he knew that I could do it. But like personally, I never realized that. I never felt that I was a talented guy just because it is what I do. So
Yeah.
I was training all day, learning, trying to find more ways to improve my game.
Yes.
But it's funny because I was just doing that because I wanted to get better, but not because I thought about.
That's so cool to hear. Yeah,
A
Like
way
you
to
weren't
live, yeah.
like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be the best in the world, or I'm gonna do this. It's just like I just do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
And
feel like your coaches kind of guide your family, is guiding you through the way.
no, and at the same time, I was doing like college and everything. So that's another stuff to do because I was dealing with college because I'm a physical therapist. I have my
you?
degree, and yeah, I
Okay.
finished college and everything.
All while doing MMA professionally and everything. Graduated everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
My first professional fight in the UFC takes 1 year to happen because after winning Contender Series, I was finishing college. So that's why it takes so long to me making my UFC debut.
Okay, so because you wanted to make sure that you got that.
Yeah, except no, and also my parents, they also same like me, you know, they never thought I was gonna be like
What you are now.
exactly.
Or they'll have the path that you're at right now.
So they was like, no, you need to finish college, and then if you wanna do whatever you want, just do it, but finish this. And I was like, okay. And now I'm glad because look, I can speak English decently, and
Yes.
I feel that school helps a lot, like in the sports.
Foundations and structure.
Exactly. And it's something that a lot of athletes don't do it. Not because they don't want to, maybe they don't have the opportunity, but
Yeah.
I have it there, so I take it.
Exactly. And for marketing, for branding, as far as like when it comes to being a fighter, I believe you guys are also entrepreneurs. You guys are also business people. So that definitely helps communication wise, understanding deals. So everything came together, schooling to where you're at now. You know, the opportunities that you're getting. I see the post-fight interviews that you do too in English. You know,
Exactly.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
So that's massive.
And you know, I always think about try to do my interviews in English and everything because I want it to be more like not only in Mexico, in the whole world. You know, I feel that right now English is the most speak language in the world. So if you really want to stand
Out, yeah.
you need to try it at least to speak in English. And now you could see like a lot of fighters that didn't speak English, Jair, Brandon, they didn't, but now they are doing it because it's necessary.
Yeah, that's true. And definitely, it relays. The message gets sent through to more people, especially the audience that you guys have right now, the UFC audience. Like most people are going to be from the US, and then most people are going to speak English, so it's a plus. It's cool to summarize on that, like your journey to where you're at now, how it played out. Like you were guided by mentors, but your coaches, your parents, but your parents still kept you on the other path that also you didn't know at the time, but it's also paying dividends right now as far as getting into the UFC.
Exactly.
Right?
It's weird because when you're young, you don't realize all the things that you're gonna use in the future. Because I remember my parents was like, doesn't matter if you don't make it that good in math or in chemistry or stuff like that, but they always really pushing me hard on be good at speaking English since I was young. So look,
that's funny, man. It's funny that you say that. Like you don't realize what your parents are doing at the time till like now. Oh, okay. Thank you for keeping me on that path, whether I wanted to go to class or not. Like now it's paying dividends. That's awesome. Now let's talk about your support system. I know. We mentioned about your coaches, your family. How are you? How many siblings do you have? How big is your family? Where do you guys come from?
I have one brother, my brother, and actually he's. Well, when I was in Mexico, he was one of my main training partners.
Okay.
He was always rooting for me. He just never became professional, but he was a very, very good fighter. And I trained with him, 10 years in Mexico.
Wow,
He helped me preparing for the Contender Series fight. He was really smart watching the videos. And still, till the day, every time that I have a fight...
You'll watch him.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm fighting this dude. And he make a list, and he's like, he's helping me at that.
Yes.
And besides that, just... my mother and my father, we're a small family. Well, cool. Just me and my brother.
Yeah, just you four basically, just kind of paving the path, gave you guys both the focus. Is your brother older than you?
Yeah,
he's
2 years. He's 27 right now.
27, so he's still part of your journey.
Yeah, no, and every time that he came to the fights. He's always supporting me. That last fight in Mexico City was good because he was able to be on the weight cut and on the fight week and
everything with you.
Yeah.
Now, coaches, I like you've been blessed, man. And this is cool to see. Like you're very blessed with good coaches too. Like you talk about your coach. What's his name again? Your coach?
Raul Romero.
Raul Romero.
Mexico.
Yeah,
actually, I feel that I'm a very blessed person because of that. Because as you say, I always have the good fortune of having good coaches with me. People see that I'm a serious athlete, so they don't hesitate and start working with me. Because Raul helps me a lot of time in Mexico. Him, Diego Perez are like my Christian Del Mal. They are like my three main coaches in Mexico, and all they three let me go when it was time. They never be like, "Hey, no, you need to stay here in Mexico." And no. They say you need to go to USA, to Las Vegas or wherever you want to go to keep growing. So they were good with that. And actually, one of my coaches, Christian, he's still coming here with me. Like every fight that I have, he came for 1 month at least. So right now he's coming actually August 4.
Yeah.
And he's gonna stay here till the fight.
Okay, so he's gonna be with you. That's cool to see, man.
He's always supporting me.
Yeah.
And here in Vegas, I have, again, the blessings of have great coaches. I'm working with Derek Nixig. I'm working with Coach Jorge Capetillo, Hector Vasquez, Dewey Cooper, Dennis Davis. Like, I'm working with a lot of different guys, but it's what it takes to be a good fighter, Like, you need to build a big table and put the people that is going to take you where you want. It's hard to do because a lot of coaches don't want to work with each other, but...
What's up to you, yeah.
Exactly.
You get both. Well, now that you see this and you're blessed, I want to talk about that. So you feel like you're blessed, man, and a lot of people sometimes don't acknowledge that. But do you feel because your road has been sort of surrounded with really good people, I would say, a responsibility to like be a champion because now it's all their efforts, all the energy they invested into you as an athlete for you to be the champion? Yeah,
at some point you start feeling that I just owe that to all these people, They've been believing in me for years. Even when I didn't believe in myself, these people was always pushing me and saying to me that you can do this, you can do that. Right now here, for example, Coach Capetillo is one of the coaches with I spend the most time because I watch him, almost every day training and he gave me the opportunity to meet other great fighters and I saw the mentality, the way that they speak, the way that they train and he's always pushing me and saying, hey, you can do this, you can do that. And he always says that the biggest problem that he had when I started training with him was making me believe in myself, that I can really become a world champion. And now I feel that I'm already there. It's just matter of keep working.
Keep working at it. So these people that are around you, you owe it to them, is what you're saying. You owe it to them because they believe in you before you believed in yourself.
Exactly.
I believe them, and I think a lot of people sometimes have the opposite, where they want to prove that people that don't believe in them. But it's harder, I think, to like believe in yourself when you have so much blessings on you, because you're like, people are pushing you, right? And it's sometimes harder to make that shift. So what was it that made that shift? Was it when you won your first at the Contender Series, you're like, now I gotta wake up and like I gotta do it for everybody else?
No, actually it was after I lost that my first fight. But talking a little bit more about proving to the guys that don't believe, it's because I always thought the opposite way, because I feel that if you don't believe in me, I don't need to prove anything to you. So for me, I don't do this for the people that doesn't want to believe in me or doesn't believe that I'm going to be champion or I'm going to be something special. I do this because of all the people that actually believe in me. Because, if I sat down here and start talking about all the people that has been supporting me, bro, we
be here forever.
We'll be forever. Because believe it or not, I don't forget the people that give me a hand, that give me a pair of gloves, a protein. I remember everybody that always give a friend hand with me in Mexico, even like coaches, friends, people that trained with me, people that even trained me without charge me because I didn't have the money to pay them, So I really feel that it's because all of these people that believe in me more than for
proving
the people
wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense.
You're a positive person. You kind of tend to see the glass half full. So you're going to focus on the positive. Why focus on the negative?
Exactly.
Right. So let me focus on this good energy that I have to propel me forward instead of like trying to prove people wrong.
And I feel that also that makes the path easier, because it's a tough sport and you're going to have good moments, bad moments, because everybody wins and everybody loses. But if you keep focusing on the wrong things and if you keep wasting your mental energy, your time thinking, oh, this guy doesn't believe in me, this guy doesn't believe, you are never going to finish. Yes. So I rather focus on the people that believe in me and I love, rather than focus on the negative things.
Yeah, that's a great way to see it, man. I love how you see it, because you're counting your blessings, is what you say. You're counting your blessings. You're like, thank you to everybody, instead of like the other people. That's awesome to hear. So these mentors of yours, these coaches, have definitely guided your path. Let's talk about right now what you have going on. The coaches, how's the regimen? How's the training? How's all that you have? Because you're prepping for a fight, and we'll talk about it right now. But like, how's all this day to day going?
Every fight camp, it's a little bit different depending on which fighter we're fighting. Like if I'm fighting a wrestler, if I'm fighting a striker. So it depends a little bit on what we're gonna put more in the training schedule. But I usually try to talk with my coaches and see what they want me to do, what they feel that I need to get better. Like after my last fight, I saw the fight and I'm like, okay, I'm having problems with this. I need to fix this and that. So pretty much I'm always training. Even while I'm in Mexico, after the fights, I'm always training there with my original coaches. Mm-hmm. Then when I came here, I keep training. So it's not like I do fight camps. It's just that I start doing more specific things. For example, on Monday, I woke up at 7 a.m., go do strength and conditioning for an hour and a half. Then, for example, this week I'm going to be doing boxing sparring, then wrestling, then boxing class, then stretching at night. And that's pretty much every day, Monday to Friday. And Saturdays is just a long run in the mountain or in the desert, wherever Coach Cavitillo take us. And then another wrestling class, and then rest the whole week. And then, after Sunday, do it again. And it's more about just being constant rather than being like motivated all day, You're
very disciplined.
Exactly.
Extremely disciplined, right? Where it's like you've already made it part of your life now. I think for the whole time you've been making it part of your life. So it's like, this is what I do. I wake up and I do it.
And I remember a lot a quote that Kobe Bryant used to say, and my sports psychologist actually, he used to compare me a lot with him, because he says, when I first step here in Vegas, I have like a plan in mind, and I do like my full calendar, like what I'm gonna be doing, when I'm gonna be doing it, and that blah blah. And I feel that a lot of people, when they get tired or they didn't wanna train or they don't feel motivated, they just start changing things. And I used to be like that, like, oh, I need to run today, but I don't want to run, maybe tomorrow. And then if you start like giving those small like opportunities to to be weak, to don't do the things that you are supposed to do, then you end up not doing like what you are supposed to. So for me, it's more like, all right, if today I say I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it
Regardless.
regardless. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm tired, if I didn't want to do it, if it's late. Like I don't. The way that I'm thinking like day to day is I don't think in time. I think in goals. You know, like if I need to do these 4 things, the day is not over until I do these 4 things, and then I can go to sleep, and then I do. So I feel that it's a more easier way also to me to see the things rather than be thinking, oh, it's 10 p.m. I need to go to sleep. It's easier to think more in.
You're very mentally tough then.
Yeah.
Very mentally tough, and it is a science to be mentally tough. So everyone in the world, and this is value that you can take from Daniel too, is we all have that little voice inside our head that's like, nah, we'll just skip it. We'll just skip it. It's about shutting that voice up and just doing it. And the more you shut it up, because it's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. But the more you shut it up, the more discipline you get, the more ahead you get. Because most people, they'll hear that voice and then they'll kind of cave into it. I'll just run 1 less mile today. I won't do the full hour and 30. I'll do 10 minutes. No, you got to make sure you get to that. And I like to call it like discipline deposits. Like you're just depositing those little things into a bank account of discipline, and you just keep getting better. You outwork the competition. You're a fan of Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, a lot actually.
Okay.
My sports psychologist use it a lot to to show me things because I feel that also that's important. Like that's another thing that a lot of people don't see when you are a professional athlete. You don't only work your physique. You don't only work your abilities in for example in this case in the cage. You need to work like mentally also. And that's something that it's been making a huge difference in my career lately.
Really?
Like, do you remember we were talking about me realizing that I can be a world champion and everything? Part of that is because I started working with my psychologist, Diego, it's his name. So I feel that, everything it's putting together. I'm building up a good team, and that's
I think that the sports psychology is very, very important. I do see sometimes how important it is because especially the pressure, the daily routines that you guys have, you really have to be mentally tough. You really have to be mentally tough. So you contribute a lot of your goals now to the sports psychologist, the work you've done. Let's say you're working out your mind now, not just your body. Like you're putting goals. Maybe, I don't know if you believe in manifestation, visualization, like you close your eyes and you visualize yourself as a world champion and just like feel the emotions and really feel it. And it just brings it to life, right? It gives you more motivation, more reason, because now you believe it.
No, and he's always saying that manifestation, he says that it's not only because, a lot of people always talk about manifestation, but I feel that they don't say the whole thing because they always say like the important part of manifesting, but they never mention the part that you need to work actually.
Exactly, put in the work.
You need to do both. You need to manifest it, and you also need to work. Because if you want to be world champion and you say you're gonna be world champion, but then you sleep till 1 p.m. and just train once a day or two and don't run and don't want to do diet, and then are you really gonna be world champion, or you just half want to be a world champion? So, I feel that sports psychology has been a really important thing in my career lately, especially after my first loss.
Yeah, because it was your first one, right? So let's go into that. Like, you had won the Contender Series, so you got signed to the UFC about a year after you finished physical therapy, graduated, everything. You went into your first fight right away. I'm sure, like your bright lights, everything ready to go, and you got your first loss.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it. This is perfect, man. This is the value that I want. How. Because it was hard, I'm sure. Like you're there, your first loss, and it's like first time, what's gonna happen? You question yourself, you bring yourself down low. So many people depending on me, and this is what I do. Like, how tell me about the feeling then and there, and then we'll go into how you overcame it.
It was a very sad moment for me. I also started thinking about retiring me about the sport. Not because I didn't want to do it more, because at some point you start thinking, all right, I was 12-0 when I made my UFC debut, and then you just made that debut and lost the fight the way I lost. I was like, so am I really good? And that type of thoughts started like popping. So, I was sad. I didn't want to train. I was like, it was the first fight camp that I do actually here in Vegas, because for that fight, when I finished college, I came here to Vegas to start training with Coach Eric. At that time, I didn't train with Coach Capetillo and with all these coaches. It was just me and Eric, and it was the first time that I was in the gym, knowing the people, like getting used to different training partners. So I didn't knew what to expect, and then I go in. I lost the fight after all the sacrifices of being far from my family for the first time, living in a different country. So it really sucks. That fight really sucks.
So it brought you down mentally more than anything, right? So how did you manage to overcome it? Who was there to bring you back up? Who was it? Just a mental battle between yourself? Because I know people can tell you these things like, nah, you know what, get up. But if you don't want to, you're not going to get up. So it had to come from you, right? Exactly. So these are struggles that you had mentally. How were you able to overcome that?
You know, first of all, with my family, everybody was very supportive with me. I know that a lot of guys like to say that after a loss, nobody texts them. In my case, it wasn't like that, and that's why I'm always positive, you know. I receive a lot of messages from my family, friends, the people who believe in me, saying to me that, hey, you're going to be fine. It's just another step. You're going to do it well. You just keep going. But it was more like the internal battle with me, you know, like, because I really was struggling believing that I belonged to the UFC. And it's funny because yesterday I was talking with my psychologist and we were talking about that. He remembered that after the fight, the question that I have, like my inner question was, am I really belong to the UFC, or am I really a good fighter? And that was the main problem with me at that time. And that's when I was start working more closely into the mind aspect of the fight.
Mental toughness, getting through those obstacles, yeah. So before that, you weren't realizing like these thoughts could I call it poisoning, right? You didn't realize that these thoughts were kind of poisoning your brain, or that you can actually control them. Like, nope, I don't want to think that. And you switch over to something else.
And I was getting focused on different things that I didn't need to focus, and that's another tough thing to do, you know, because as you say, sometimes you are just focusing all your energy in things that you can control or doesn't even have a relationship with you, you know. Sometimes you are thinking about another people and what they are doing instead of what you are doing, and you're just wasting time and wasting like energy and thoughts, and that's another thing that I'm working with my sports psychologist, you know, on focusing on myself, on what I'm doing, on my goals, on what can I do to get to those goals. And yeah, you know, I feel that's
a big shift, man. That's a really big shift mentally, because man, this is a cool story too, because you just see it and you're actually going through it right now. So it's like come up, almost like, you know, you're starting to start feeling it, and boom, it happens. But then this is like just a little downfall to get you to the next level, right? So after you started doing the work with your sports psychologist, you got another fight after that.
Exactly.
And now where are we at after that? What happens after that?
It was tough too, because I remember, all right, he made to convince me that I belong to the UFC, that we were working in those later months after the fight, like on that mentally part of the fight game. And I remember after I lost that fight, when they called me back and says, hey, you have a next fight, it was against Lando Banata. Brother, I was really scared for that fight, because I was coming off of a loss, and then it was just my second UFC fight, and they offered to fight Lando Banata, who, for everybody that doesn't know, he was fighting Tony Ferguson. He already have at that time 12-6. So what, 18 fights in the UFC. He have more fights in the UFC than I have professional fights, you know. So I was like, oh man,
they threw you,
they just want me to go out or what? And that was
actually crossed your mind, I'm sure, huh?
No, for sure, bro. You could believe it. I was running, crying like, oh, why? And then I remember for that fight camp, I do a lot of changes. I realized, and that's another part of the story, you know, like after that loss, I sat down and I started thinking, all right, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I need to fix what was wrong. And I started doing a list, like, all right, what do I need? A boxing coach, okay. A kickboxing coach. I need to get my wrestling better, my jiu-jitsu better. I need to do this and that. And I start fixing and grabbing different coaches. With my main coach, Eric Nixick, we were like, okay, I need to start doing boxing. So I write to my coach, Jorge Capetillo. And I text him, hey, coach, I want to train with you. I just came from a loss. I don't want to lose again. I need your help, blah, blah. And actually, he received very well the message, because he's a very busy man, you know. He could just say, no, I'm not going to train you. And but actually, he liked the way that I approached to him, the way that I talked to him. And he says, okay, I'm going to help you. I start training with him. I start training with Coach Dewey Cooper in kickboxing. I start doing jiu-jitsu at different places, wrestling. In that fight camp, I just add those two coaches, Coach Capetillo and Coach Dewey. And then I was going through all the fight camp for this fight, building confidence a little bit. But for that fight, I was kind of like still
questioning
battling.
Yourself,
because it's normal, especially in this sport where you actually are gonna fight somebody.
Yes.
The doubt is always there, but you really need to be, as you say, like mental tough. I remember I went to that fight like scared. I was really scared, even in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, oh, what if I lose again? But at that time, thank God, I already learned that ability, as you say, like to quiet the thoughts and really get focused on what's matter. And then I go out and I won the fight, and that kind of like start helping me building confidence and realizing that I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then for the next fight camp, I keep adding coaches. Like it's like a small puzzle. Like you are always putting like the pieces that you need, and that's what makes me a good fighter. At this point, I feel that that's what is being making the difference with me.
Yeah, awesome. And then after this, you've already won you fought Prado, right? And you won fight of the night, right?
And the month.
And the month.
Yeah.
Fight of the night and the month, right? So now we're on a good pace after going through this tough battle within yourself. More important, like it was a battle within yourself. You had to go through it. I'm sure you realize that now.
Yeah, no, and
right?
now I'm always thankful about that defeat because I'm always thinking back then I was like, yeah, if I didn't lose, probably I wouldn't search for Coach Capetillo. I wouldn't take these mental things that serious. Probably I wouldn't search for Coach Dewey. Like probably I wouldn't do a lot of different things. So now I'm always grateful, and still to the day that defeat keeps showing me different things. Every time that I don't want to run, I remember, hey. Remember what you feel when you lost? You better go run. I was like, okay.
That's cool, man. I like to hear that. So the fact that loss woke you up, and you know what? It's very tough because it's the UFC. Like it's the UFC, and it's the first fight, and then you lose. So I know, but it's such a blessing in disguise where now you have so many people around you that still believe in you, that are in you with your journey and in the career that you have now. Right, so it's cool to talk about the mental toughness that you have. Do you see it practiced with your coaches too? Like, do they also implement this mental aspect into you, like when they're coaching?
Yeah, even in the classes, wrestling, for example, I feel that it's one of the toughest sports to do, like by itself. Mm-hmm. So for example, tomorrow, like Monday classes with Coach Eric, it's one of the toughest classes in the week. They turn off the AC. They actually sometimes they put the heat on the room, so it gets just tougher and tougher.
I saw it all sweaty on the floor.
Exactly, and everybody just want to quit, but then you start pushing yourself, and a lot of guys just quit, you could see in the classes, a lot of guys just go out and sit down on the middle of the class, but the guys that really stay are the ones that you need to keep driving, working with them, and that's another thing that I'm always trying to do, when I'm training with training partners, I always try to be surrounded by the good training partners, people that are really have the same mindset that me, that really want to be champions that me, or even former champions, in the gyms here. There's a lot of good fighters. So
and then you just sparred with one recently, right?
Yeah, that's another thing. For example, with my coach Jorge Capetillo, he take me to spar Caleb Plant.
Yeah,
he's former world champion.
Yep,
27-2. He just fought. Well, the only two defeats that he has is against Canelo and Benavides. That are another tough fighters.
Yeah, both tough fighters.
And that's an opportunity. Coach Capetillo says to me, I was waiting on you to really realize how good you are, to put you onto these spots. Because he says that if in your first fight that we do together, I take you to this type of sparrings, they would just kill you.
With you, yeah.
So now I've been working with him for 2 years, something like that.
With Capetillo?
Yeah,
nice.
For almost 2 years.
And he's giving you these opportunities. I mean, you're earning them. I don't want to say giving to you because you're earning them. You're putting in the work.
Yeah.
And you're showing to him like, yo, I'm ready. So put me up, get me into the next level. And that's cool that you have coaches that want the best for you. They do, and they're putting. So you just sparred Caleb Plant.
Yeah.
Right? How was it? Fun?
Yeah, fun. He's a very good fighter. Different styles, like, cause I remember when we started sparring, I was switching stance, and he asked me to don't do it because he's fighting an orthodox fighter. Mm-hmm. So I understand that point, but like in MMA we switch stances, we do different things that in boxing you don't do.
Yeah.
So, but either way, the experience is good because having the opportunity to spar a world champion, another discipline, learning from them, because he's a really cool dude, He showed me different stuff. He explains me what he do with me in the ring and different things that, some things didn't really work in MMA, but other things do. So
you catch all that, man.
Exactly.
You have to be a sponge in there, just like these are world champions and you're surrounded by these great people, these great athletes that are just like, and the cool thing is they pour down to you. Like they're giving you the knowledge, you know. I'm sure that he's like, I did this with you, and you're like, oh, okay.
But I also feel that that's because of the attitude, you know, because I could just go in there and spar and see you and go. But I'm always like asking questions like, hey, you remember when you punched me like this? What you do or how you do it? And he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm always trying to be like that. Actually, even with my coaches, you know, if they show me something, I'm not the type of people that just says yes, and I'm always asking, hey, but why I'm gonna do this, or how am I supposed to be doing this in the cage, and I feel that that's also why I've been improving so much faster than the other guys. You know, it's because I'm always asking, I'm always trying to find a way to become better.
Love it.
And you know
that I call that. There's two things I call it. That's being humble, right? You're being humble enough to know that you can still learn more, right? You're humble enough to realize like I can learn from anybody. So, and you're always asking questions. You're always wanting to learn. So you're at a great place, a dream place that a lot of fighters want to be in. But you're still humble enough to ask questions. Sorry. So you're still humble enough to ask questions and learn from these people because you've put yourself in this environment where anyone would love to be in, you know. Exactly. And it's because of the attitude of how humble you are that people want to help you out. And you're a student. I'm sure you love to learn. And I feel that that's also something important. You know, I have the opportunity to travel to different countries for fighting. I've been in Brazil, in Thailand, here, and I always know like these former world champions, fighters that are top 15, top 5 even in the world. And some of those fighters have this mentality of like, I already know what I need to know. I'm just going to get in fight shape. And I keep hearing that, you know, like, no, I'm just going to get in fight shape. And they really stop learning because they believe that they know everything. And I feel that that's when you are not going to do something great in the sport. You know, I feel that if you are going to be champion, you need to be learning every time. You can just sit down or rely on what you already knew because the sport keeps evolving fast. So you really need to have that ability to keep growing. And as you said, you know, like the mind to say, okay, I'm not the best, I need to keep learning. And you always have the opportunity to learn from everybody, you know, because a lot of fighters also have this kind of like idea of they see fighters with less record or fighters that are not in the UFC or in a big league, and they say it like inferior fighters, you know. But in my mind, I'm always trying to learn something for everybody because I can learn. You know, like an example, a fighter might have like 3-0, but he's a former college wrestler, you know, All-American, so he can show me stuff. And it's the same if you go boxing with a guy 28-8. He have a lot of losses, but still he have a lot of experience. So you really need to have the ability to learn from everybody, especially in this sport, because if you are not trying to learn, then you are not doing a good job. Exactly. And the thing too, and this applies for life too, you have to learn how to evolve because this is why I love fighting. I love mixed martial arts because you get tested every single fight, right? The same opponent that you fought before, it's going to be completely different style, different height, different whatever. They come from a different background, different experiences. So you always have to be able to evolve and adapt. When you just rely on your skills that you currently have, I see you kind of like more of a risk, right? You have to be able to evolve and adapt. And that goes for everything, even in business too. We have a company, right? And I'll share a little bit of the story. We're always asking our people that are in the production, what can we do better? Because we're not in there, but what can we do better? So like, for example, you use the wrestler that is a 3-0, the example you used. You can learn something from him, something that's going to make you better. Or you know what? Sometimes even learn something you're not supposed to do.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's funny because it's like that. Sometimes you are just wrestling with the guy and he do something on you.
Yeah.
And you need to be mentally aware of what they are doing to you. So that way you after the match you can approach to the guy and, hey, how do you do this? Or well, at least that's what I'm always doing, you know, even sparring, wrestling. You know, the classes is like 1 hour classes, but I'm always stay like half an hour more, 45 minutes more, just asking questions and, hey coach, could you explain me this? And hey brother, hey, how you do this and how you do that? And also, as you say, I feel that the guys saw that. Because, you know, when I first came into Extreme Couture, nobody helped me. Yeah. Because, you know, as MMA fighters, we always have this, like, you need to earn your spot, you know. And I respect that a lot because now that I'm kind of like, I've been there for 2 years now. I have kind of like my own spot in there. So it's funny because every time that somebody new came, I understand why everybody was like that with me. Because guys need to show that they really want to learn. Because if not, you can have everything easy in life. So I feel that that's why these guys was like that with me. They really make me pass some hard times. But I earned my spot, and now I know that I can go with all the guys and ask them like, hey, could you show me this? Could you show me that? Hey, could you help me on Saturdays? And they are always willing to help because they see that I really take serious this sport, and I have like the will to learn from them. So
and you've earned it. You put in the reps. You put in it from the bottom. When when no one wanted to give you advice, you still stayed there. You were willing to be humble enough to be like, okay, I'll be in this spot, but I'll prove myself. You've earned every single thing.
And it's good because even the coaches says that to you. Like later on, the coaches didn't even talk to me. Some coaches was like, very respectful, but they really don't
connect.
Exactly. Yeah. But now it's funny because sometimes I'm in the gym and even the coaches goes like, hey, I see you working. I see you like, because they realize when somebody is doing the work or when they are not, because there are a lot of fighters that says, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and they are really not working that much.
You don't want to put so much energy into those fighters, to be frank, or it can be in any part of life, in business. Like, why would I put energy into somebody that hasn't earned it? Exactly. So it's really cool. That's what I love about fighting. You have to earn your spot everywhere. Every single fight, you have to earn it. You have to earn it. It's a great metaphor for life. You do have that Mamba mentality too, because that's exactly what he talks about. So I love to study Kobe Bryant, man. That's like one of my inspirations, just the mentality behind him. He was always there early, always out of work, and always asking questions on how to be better. He would study tape. That's what he lived. He lived studying tape. He would go to other gyms, other teams, and ask, okay, how do I block this? How do I do this? How do I play defense? Like, he was that guy. That's why he was so good.
Yeah, as you say, it's funny. I just remembering. Yeah, my sports psychologist also. That's why he's always sending me these basketball videos, and not only from him. There's a lot of athletes that you can learn. He's always sending me videos from tennis, from basketball, because there's a lot of athletes out there that was great not because they have the best abilities in the world, because they was willing to put on the work, and that's something that a lot of people don't do in MMA. Everybody have like their own style. There's guys that can't even train and they go out and win fights and they became champions, and it works for them. But for me, I feel that the way that I'm doing my career is working, and I really have this in mind. Like, nobody's gonna outwork me. Like for that fight I lost, I feel that it was that, the problem that I didn't have enough training. I wasn't having the best training because I didn't have the tools that I have today. But now that I know that, and now that I have the tools, I feel that it's my responsibility not lose again. If I lose again, it's not gonna be because I didn't train. It's not gonna be because I didn't run. It's gonna be just because the other guy was better, and I can be fine with that. Because that's another thing that killed me when I get that defeated. That feeling of going back Mexico, thinking, oh, I should run these more, or I should do this, and
you don't want that thought ever to cross your mind.
Exactly.
I put in every single workout that I needed to, if it was just his night.
And also that helps in fight night, because when you're about to fight, bro, the mind is really crazy. You are start thinking about all the things that you don't do, and having that in mind few moments before fighting with other guys is not good. So I always that's another thing that I'm always doing. All the work that I need to do, it's because I want to have the like, I'm gonna be 100% sure that I do everything that I could to win the fight. Like everybody says, like this expression, not stone left, or how do you say it?
No stone unturned.
Yeah,
no left, no stone unturned. You want to do everything.
Exactly, everything.
So it's not gonna be your work ethic. It's not gonna be that. You're not gonna rely to that. If anything, it just wasn't my night. That's it. But I know I put in everything that you can control. Basically, you're gonna do.
And I can be fine with that. If the outcome is not what I want, if I do all the work, all right, I'm fine with me, because I know at the end of the day, if I don't want the fight, I put all the work, I learn, I improve. It was just, as you say, it was not my night, but I know I'm gonna have another opportunity. I know it's just matter of keep going.
Yeah.
But that's something where I can live. But that thought of not doing stuff, that's hard. That's really hard.
I feel that, man. A lot of people go through it at different parts of their life, and you went through it at the perfect part, because you're 25 years old right now. How old were you when you lost the fight?
What?
How old were you when you lost the fight?
Oh, 22.
So you were 22 is still young, you know. You lost your first fight, but it was at a perfect point. Some people get that turning point a little bit later in life and then start changing up. But you got it at the perfect time to where you're paving your path already. You're paving your path. So that's awesome to hear the mental aspect of it. Let's talk about what your goals are next. I know you have an upcoming fight. Let's talk about that. How's that going right now?
I'm fighting on the Sphere. On September 14th.
That's gonna be wow! You got the Sphere opportunity.
Yeah,
that's massive.
Fight. Yeah, no,
that's massive, man.
I feel very happy because of that. Because as you say, it's a big opportunity. It's the best event of combat athlete.
That's what Dana White is saying. It's true. And have you been to the Sphere? Have you been inside yet?
Not inside, but outside.
Yeah. So it's amazing. I can't even honestly. I can't even imagine how the UFC is gonna pull it off, but it's gonna be a spectacle for sure. So you're fighting there? Yeah.
I'm fighting on the Sphere, September 14th. So that's why I came here 3 months. For 3 months, I always do like long fight camps. As you say,
Yeah.
I don't like to say that I'm on fight camp because I'm always training. Even in Mexico, I was training. Right now, I came here. I'm already being here in Vegas for 6 weeks.
You're always fight ready.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. I'm always trying to be ready because you never know. But also it's because I like to learn. Because, for example, right now that I have an aim, I have a fight, all the fight camp turns more into that fight. So you really don't have room to keep developing those abilities. Because if you're fighting a wrestler, then you are not going to be working on your kickboxing. You are going to be working on your wrestling.
Yes.
And it works both ways, So that's why now that I have a name, I'm working on what this guy does best and what I need to work on.
I see. So I wanted to say you're sharpening your skills, but you're not. You're evolving your skills. Because when you're sharpening your skills, like you have the same skill, you're just making it better. But in your case, you're evolving. Like, okay, I'm not sharpening this. I'm going to take it to another level. Like it depends who I'm fighting, then I'm going to evolve these skills.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's another reason that I'm always training. 'Cause for example, in wrestling is hard to learn. And let's say that my next fight is against a very good wrestler. 8 weeks is not going to be enough to develop the ability to fight against that. So that's why I'm always trying to get better in every area. So that way, when I have a name, I just need to remember what I already knew or adjust some things. But it's not like I'm starting out of zero.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always...
So you have the fundamentals of everything, always have everything ready to go. Whenever you just pick it up a little bit, depending on the type of fight that you're going to get.
And depending on what my coach says, and you need to work on this, on that. And
so everything's very systemized. I saw your calendar, man. I've never seen something like that from an athlete, really. I rarely see it from business people, how they have everything just very highlighted, ready to go, on schedule. Like it is to the T, like to the time, boom, very organized. Do you do it by yourself or you have a team that helps you?
I do it. No, I do it by myself. But again, my psychologist, Diego, shout out to you, Diego. He says to me, he shows me this because he's always asking me about, I was always complaining about, I don't have time to do this and that. And he always asks me this question, all right, go to your calendar. What's the color that you saw the most? And I was like, this or that. He's like, no, the color that is the most is black. Because all the spaces that are empty, so you have time. You just need to organize your life, and you're gonna be able to do a lot of different things. Because I used to think that I didn't have time to do 4 trains a day, but I really have time. It's just a matter of
organizing it.
Organize everything exactly.
So he helped you do all that, get everything organized.
Exactly. All this is because of him.
Wow.
He showed me a lot of. Believe me, he's really making a huge impact in my life. He gave me the habit of reading and studying tape. That was something that I used to do, but I didn't knew how to do it. He helped me with that. He helped me create a system on how I'm gonna study the guys that I'm fighting. On having this, he showed me that this is a tool. It's not for being addicted.
Yeah. It's a tool.
The phone is a tool. So if you know how to use it, sometimes he says on weekends, all right. Besides fighting, something that you want to learn. Oh, I don't know. I want to learn about business. I want to learn how to invest, how to do this. All right, you're gonna watch this amount of time or videos on this subject that you want to become better, and you're going to be doing that, and you have time for everything. Actually, you just need to, as you say, organize your life.
Yeah. So he helped you do all this, man. You're at this point, you're someone that just executes on what you have in front of you.
Exactly.
So you're like, okay, I have all this ready to do. Let me just crank them out. And you've built that fortitude, I'm sure, through martial arts to just get it done. Just do it,
Exactly.
So this can be applied in other parts of life too. I'm sure you have already. I'm not sure if you have any other like things that you do outside of MMA, but like it's a skill. It's a skill that you can apply anywhere. Organization and execution at a high level is what you're doing. And right now you're doing it at MMA.
And especially being an MMA fighter, since I have a lot of coaches, it's been key have these organized because I can talk with the coaches like, hey coach, I have this at this time. Are you free at this time? And it helps me programming better my trainings.
Yes.
Because I have the ability to say, hey, what are you gonna do from here the next 3 months this day? Oh, okay, it's gonna be you. I'm gonna put it here, and now I know that this time is with you, and I can put any other thing in this time, and it helps you like
Definitely.
organizing what you're gonna do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Do any other fighters do that you know of?
Well, I don't know if any other fighters do, but at least I'm doing it.
Hey man, it's working for you. Sheesh, it's working for you. That's really good, man. I love that because it could go through any part of life. Like, it's just organization. We all think we don't have enough time, but you are proof that we do have more than enough time, right? We have way more than enough time to do things. So the fight at the Sphere, it's gonna be Noche de UFC, right?
Yeah, Noche
Inside the
UFC
Sphere.
2.
Oh, so that was the second one. Yeah, the last one was here in Vegas, to T-Mobile, right? And then now they got this one last year. Cool, excited for that one, man. We'll definitely be there supporting. You know what? It's such a good opportunity for you for exposure, and I think you're ready for it. I think, well, from what I'm going to tell you, kind of my perspective, right? As far as marketing and branding and business goes, a fighter is his personal brand, is their identity. You want to make money in fighting. You guys are all 1099s. Right, which means independent contractors. Yeah. Right. So, you guys are signed to the UFC. UFC gives you guys fights, and you guys have to maximize the exposure. And having you obviously speak English is a huge part to being relatable to the audience. To the audience, you're going to gain way more fans. Not saying that Spanish. I mean, Spanish is our first language. It's still there, but we have to be able to evolve and amount more people in our journey on what we're doing. The branding that you have, do you have anyone behind you that's helping you right now with the branding? I know you, right? Let's talk about it. Yeah. So you got a team right now that you're putting together.
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm start working because of the organization. You know, like I realize that if you really wanna get more opportunities in the sport, of course, the first thing and the most important for me, and that's always gonna be number one, it's training. That's the way that I organize this. Like, if I need to choose between training or do another thing, I'm gonna choose training, and from there I can start working. All right, I need to do more social media work. All right, I have a friend that helps me with that. I really don't post anything, yourself, you know, because I don't have that time to be posting and editing the videos, and that's why I start working with Ahmed. I know probably you are not gonna see it, but yeah, he's helping me with.
We'll put him in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put him in there. In there. Hey.
Yeah, he's helping me create my own YouTube channel, my content in TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, you know, because you need to have these abilities, this branding. Because as you say, as fighters, UFC give you the fight and they give us the platform, but it's our job to maximize that exposure. And that's why I actually decided to start talking English more in the interviews. And if the UFC says to me, I will always rather do it in English, because I know that, for example, the Mexican people, my family, my friends in Mexico, the people that knows me there, even if it's in English or in Spanish, they are gonna watch the video. And if it's in English, it's gonna have subtitles, and they are gonna read it because they are interested in me. Yeah. But the American people, the Asian people, all over the world, sometimes they really don't.
They're not gonna pay attention to you.
They're gonna pay attention.
Yeah, they're gonna skip the video. But if you talk in English, let's hear about how that fight went, because he won fight of the night. Let me go hear the post interview. I'm like that. You know, I speak Spanish too, but when it's a language that I don't know and it's a good fighter, like I'm like, oh, I can understand it, and I have the translator that's longer videos. You know, it's
exactly. And
like
people
that.
don't like that. So that's why I'm always trying to do like the videos that I do. And that's something that I work with him a lot. We do the videos, and we always put, like, if the video is in English, we put subtitles in Spanish, and good. If it's in Spanish, we put subtitles in English, because I'm really trying to reach or maximize the amount of people that watch my content. So
you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. Now I'm starting on that.
Road to Gold. That's one of the series that you have. Whose idea was that? Just curious.
Him.
Great job, brother. Great job. I love that. I love the storytelling. I love the content. I love the behind the scenes. You know why? Because now I can relate to you. I can okay, I don't just see him the night of the fight. Like, I can watch his journey. So I'm more emotionally invested in you winning. So when you win, I win because I was there. I felt like I was part of the journey with you, with the sweat, with everything, the early morning runs. So the content that you have a good team with you, like that's very, very good.
Yeah, and it was his idea, because he says we're all day together, you know, like I'm always with you recording for TikTok, Instagram, taking pictures. Why we don't maximize the time and start doing a YouTube channel too? And it's a work too, because sometimes now I need to think about, all right, what I'm gonna do. But it's good having a team, because he have a lot of good ideas, and he's always like, hey, let's do this and that. And that's also why I'm always like in the YouTube channel asking people to let their thoughts on the video. And people are like, hey, you know what, the audio in this video was bad. Okay, we're gonna fix that because we are starting, we just have four weeks doing it, and we're uploading one video a week, so
that's
we're
cool,
still
though.
trying
that's
to
consistent. Yeah. I saw that. So what's the YouTube channel so they can follow you right now? What's the YouTube?
Road to the Gold.
Road to the Gold. Okay, and the YouTube channel, that's the name of the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Daniel Goldenboy, there you go. He's the one that runs it. You work on training. You work on training, bro. You work on training. You take care of it. Hell yeah, that's good, man. That you have people that are running it for you. That gives you more time to focus. Yeah, you're going to contribute a little bit, but your priority, training.
Exactly. That's why I always have this in mind. Like we built a bigger table. Another thing that the COVID does a lot, because I don't have time to run all the things that I need to do, and I'm not shy to ask for help or to
delegate
bring
the work.
People to bring people to work with me, because some athletes want to do everything by themselves because they believe it's going to be better for them, or they really don't want to spend the money on have a team, because of course
it's expensive.
It's
expensive.
But the way that I'm seeing it's an investment, because of the YouTube channel now I'm here with you, or because of the YouTube channel some guys want to maybe sponsor the YouTube channel, or you really start growing your brand, as you say. And that's another important thing as an athlete to really understand the times where we at now, because now it doesn't matter if you know how to fight or not. It matters if you sell.
Yes,
so
it's true. That's very true, and that's how you maximize opportunities. The UFC always says that. You hear it from the owner himself. This isn't a job, it's an opportunity. Every fight's an opportunity. He's telling you what it is. So you have to maximize opportunities that you get as a fighter, as the exposure, and build a community. And I think that's what you guys are building, a community of fans, of people, of core people, and then it starts rippling out little by little.
No, and as Sean O'Malley said pretty good, we're not in the fight business, we're in the entertainment business.
Exactly.
So
and you're entertaining to watch two fighting.
But it's funny, because even if young athletes are watching this, they need to know that now it doesn't matter. Like, of course it matters. You need to be good what you're doing, and you need to get your full focus on training and be a good fighter. But that's not enough now.
Say that again. It's not enough. You can be the best, like really good, but if you want to be the fighter, the UFC, get maximum exposure, you have to have more than that.
More than that.
It's like the fighter has evolved now. Like, that's what it is. It requires that.
Yeah, because again, you can be the best fighter in the world and don't really get focused on the social media, and because I used to be like that, but now I just realized that if I want to get to that point where I want to get, I need to do all these extra things, and you can be complaining about that because it's part of the work. So that's another thing that I need to work.
You don't complain about it.
Exactly, because I used to complain, I need to do interviews, or I need to do. But then I realized, all right, then just go out there and lose the fight, and nobody's gonna interview, and nobody's gonna do anything with you. You're not gonna have sponsors. You're what you want.
That's true.
And that's when I realized, okay, I need to do these too. Like I need to, maybe if I can do it, all right, I'm gonna find somebody that can help me. I'm gonna find somebody that can run my Instagram, my this and that, and that's how you are gonna get maximum exposure, as you say.
Your parents come from any entrepreneurship backgrounds? Do they come from business or anything like that?
No, my father is a business administrator.
Okay.
And my mother is working tourism.
Okay, cool. So I'm just trying to think like where you're getting this type of mentality to like delegate and like bring branding, or do you have a mentor, reading? Or is it
I try to partner with good people,
Yeah,
No, but
man.
again, I have mentors, Even my manager itself, he's always giving me good advices.
Yeah.
He's always saying to me like, hey, you need to put more time on this, you need to do that. My sports psychologist, again, he says that he's not my sports psychologist, he's always saying that he's my teacher.
Yeah.
Because he's always trying to show me not only about like the fighting or about the mental part. He's always making me read books about financing, about investing, about how to manage your money, how to manage your time. So I feel that that's something that not all the fighters do, but if you really want to be that fighter, you need to do it.
You do need to do it. So you go and you seek for this though. I feel like you go out of your way and you're like, I want to learn this. I want to learn this. So you do your own research too, I'm sure.
Yeah, no.
Right? You're not like they're not giving you everything. You're also going out there asking the questions, finding your own YouTube videos. I don't know if you watch YouTube videos to get better at certain things. Right? Read the books.
Books, a lot of books. Yeah, that's another thing that I do this because I don't like to read like the actual book, so I'm always reading on the phone.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah.
Audiobooks too. Audiobooks are good too. I listen to a lot of those.
Yeah, no, it's part of being a good fighter, you know, because I'm not seeing myself only as a fighter. I really want to be a successful guy, you know. I want to have my business. I want to have different things in life. So, you know, I have like a vision, as you say. I'm really manifesting a lot of things in my life, but I'm also doing the work to get to the point where I want to be. So
yeah, and then most of the audience that we want to cater to, we usually talk like it's about the 10%. So the podcast is called The First Mill. We always want to go forward and make our first $1 million. That's always the goal. Like my primer millón, my first mill. That's why the name of the podcast comes. But so you guys know, like, it's about putting in the work. Manifestation, we're not that type of people. We're the type of people that we manifest, but we manifest opportunities. Then we go and we do the work. That's how I like to talk about it. Like, it's manifestation, yes, but manifest opportunities for the big goal. And then go and do the work. Take the opportunity, take the chances. They're going to come. God, life is going to put these things in front of you, and you have to go and seek them. Like, you're a perfect example of it. Your coaches, just everyone you've been around, the knowledge that they give you, you apply it. You know, you're not just like, okay, yeah, you go and you do it. Right, so that's actual manifestation, putting in the work, right? So it's great that you do that. What else are you manifesting right now? I know you're doing a lot of the next fight. Maybe do you do visualization work for that?
yeah, and that's another thing that I'm working too. You know, like visualization. Like, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but sometimes when you are visualizing the fight, I used to visualize myself as a spectator, like.
Third person.
Exactly, in third person. And now I'm working on do that on first person because it's a complete different thing, you know. It's not the same watching you from the outside doing the things and then watching you like you are actually doing it. Mm-hmm. So even that small details in the visualization are important in a fight because I used to visualize a lot, but I was doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm doing it right, it helps you get more comfortable in the cage, you know, because when you are used to see the guy like in front, like you're just watching me or I'm just watching you, you know, like if you visualize it in first person, it's going to be better.
A lot better.
When you are fighting because you are already there. You was already there. But if you watch it like you're watching the fight, that I used to do it like that, it doesn't help because, it's different. So it seems to be the same, but it's different.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know, I've been testing a lot with both of those. The thing that I always rely on is like feeling it. So like if I'm whatever it is that I'm visualizing, I'm like feeling the emotion. Like, okay, when we do this in our business, when we meet this person, when we like, this is how I'm gonna feel grateful. So I kind of embody like the first person feel that you're talking about, right? So that's a good tweak. That's a good one.
No, and I'm also trying to, as you say, redoing the motions on my head and how I'm gonna feel, and I'm always trying to feel. And this is an advice that one of my coaches gave me, Coach Eric. I used to get really nervous before fighting, and I remember it was Noche UFC 1, the one that have here in Vegas, and he says, "Bro, just go out there and enjoy," because I was really nervous. I was like, "Oh." I was using my thoughts to think, how am I gonna look when I go out? I want to be like mad, or am I gonna be happy, or? And he says, just enjoy, just be you. You know, like this is all for you guys. This is for Mexico. This is your party. So just go out there and enjoy. You don't need to be like mad, and you don't need to play like you're rude, and just enjoy. And when he said that, I remember I feel like relief. I was like, ooh, okay.
You did look relieved, but I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go out there and enjoy. And I go out singing and smiling.
And you were
and everybody, you see the fights. And there's some fighters and it works for them that they go and they are like, oh, I'm going to fight. And
that's crazy. So that happened backstage that night.
Exactly. And I used to be like that.
Came out, you brought a lot of attention because you came out like happy, like, all right.
Exactly. And I used to be like that. I used to waste a lot of energy thinking, oh, when we do the face-off in the weigh-ins, I'm going to be looking in the eye. I'm going to be... And I used to spend a lot of energy thinking in that. And I'm just like, fuck it. If I smile in his face, I'm smiling. What are you going to do? Like, we're going to fight the next day.
Yeah, so regardless...
And it's the same now. Every time that I go out to the cage, I really try to have this grateful mentality, you know, because I know at some point I'm not gonna be able to do that again. So I really want to enjoy every one and each of those walks, because even in that fight that I lost, I remember when I go out, I didn't enjoy it. I was like thinking, no, I need to go. And even if you can see the fights, when you saw that fight and I was walking to the cage, I was like like serious,
Yep.
and in the cage I was like just staring at the guy,
Uh-huh,
trying to
yeah,
be
yeah.
something that I'm not.
Yeah, that's not you.
Exactly.
That's not you.
And now these last fights, I go out singing and
fun.
enjoying and feeling the people. And this last fight in Mexico, brother.
Crazy. Tell us about that. How was
Yeah.
it, man? You went for Ciudad de Mexico, right?
Yeah, no, it was for me that if I couldn't lose one fight, it was that fight, because that was the first UFC fight that my parents attend. My girlfriend also.
Yeah.
You know, my girlfriend never watched me fighting in live. You know,
Okay.
and my parents, the last fight that they watched live was like 5-6 years ago.
Wow.
So for me, being able to go back to Mexico and fight for the UFC in front of my family, my friends, my coach,
Yes.
everything was, you know, that fight was everything for me. It was really meaningful, and that's also why I was happy about fighting in Mexico, because I could fight for my people, for the people that see me from
You were little.
the beginnings. Yeah. So it was a very, very fun fight.
And that was a fight that you won, fight of the month, fight of the night, everything. So it was like, it's catapulted you to a different level, I believe, in your career for sure, because it was so entertaining. It was really, really good to fight. Like, you gained a lot of fans from that one.
And it builds a lot of confidence too.
Within you, right? With your people, like, how do you say apoyo? The support of
support,
everybody.
yeah.
Of everybody, yeah.
Yeah, because now I know that I can go into, because, you know, it can play both ways. Fighting in front of you people can be something that drives you more, or can be something that gets you those nerves that, oh, I'm fighting in home.
Yes.
But that's why I'm always trying to have this positive mindset, you know. Instead of thinking that, I was thinking, hey, I have the opportunity to fight in front of my father, my mother, my brother, you know. I have the opportunity to have
Grateful.
my brother in the weight cut with my girlfriend, you know. It was the first time that my girlfriend watched a weight cut, and she
Yeah.
was scared. but being able to share those moments with the
Yeah.
people that I love are something
Yeah.
that it's not gonna happen again, you know. So kind of like having this mindset helps me a lot, considering the job that we do, you know, because
Yes.
if you are focusing on all the wrong and the bad things, and then a part of that you need to go out and fight the other guy, it's gonna be a
It's
tough night.
stressful,
Yeah,
man.
it's a lot of
stressful.
stress.
That's crazy. The whole fighter mentality, the whole fight week too, because you have to cut weight too, like all that.
But believe me, I'm always trying to have that grateful mindset in my mind, and that's something that
It's helped you out a lot.
Yeah, and it's something that I advise to all the fighters, and even not only fighters in all the sports. Being grateful, because there's good things and bad things. I'm grateful for both, you know, because I know that each weight cut, I even enjoy that.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people are always like,
Hate it.
I don't like to weight cut. That's the worst part. For me, there's no worst part.
Yeah.
It's just the journey, you know.
Yeah.
It's just things that you need to do, and either way, if you like it or not, you're gonna do it. So better enjoy it.
Yep.
So even while I'm going to the weight cut, I'm always trying to joke and play with my coaches, and they
Have a good
see that.
attitude.
Yeah, just because exactly, if I'm already gonna do it,
Yeah.
just
Why complain?
exactly. And another thing is that nobody's forcing me to do it, you know, like, so that's why I'm
true.
also don't like to be rude, because there's a lot of guys or fighters that when they are cutting weight, they think that they have the ability to be rude with everybody, you know, just because
acceptable.
exactly,
I'm
just
going through some
because
shit.
just because they are cutting weight. But the way that I'm thinking is like, it's not their problem, you know.
Yeah.
They are not forcing me to do it. This, you know, I'm doing this because I want. So why I'm gonna be mad with all these people that is here actually helping me when they can be in their homes?
Yeah, that's true.
Or even guys with the reporters, with the
With everybody, the whole
the
media
media,
team.
everything, yeah.
I see that, man. I think
that's why you're always gonna be watching me smile and try to be nice with people.
and this is you. I think maybe the change came. I'm trying to see it where, and this is cool to see. You've accepted who you are. You know, you're not trying to be someone you're not, and you made an identity for yourself. You know who you are. This is my identity. I'm gonna be grateful. I'm not gonna complain during weight cuts. I have this workout is what I do. Why am I gonna complain? It's just what I do. It's who I am. It's what I do. Why complain, right? So you've accepted yourself, and it's changed completely your career around.
And that's something that you say is something really important. You know, I accept myself, because sometimes as a fighter too, we're trying to build this character whether you are not, or you know, if you are funny, then just be funny. You don't need to try to be
Push it,
something. Yeah, and that's why I'm. You know, like, I'm a pretty serious guy, but I'm always trying to joke with my friends, with people that I love, or so I'm just trying to find a balance where, you know, like, to show people who I am, you know, like,
exactly. 'Cause not everyone gets it, because I think because you came from maybe a small little family, that it's like only with the people around me I get to mess around. But now with you're able to express yourself with everybody because you're in that big platform now.
Exactly, and it's just as you say, like just show who you are. Because I believe me, I used to get really focused on that about how I'm gonna
Present.
how I'm gonna present to the world, or what I want to say on the interviews, or how am I gonna look on the face off,
Yep.
and now I'm just not wasting energy on that. Like I'm just being myself,
Yeah.
and it's
paid dividends. You got so many fans because of that. Being
Exactly.
yourself, it just makes you more relatable. It just makes you more like, oh, he's just like us. He just fights. He happens to fight. Like how I go to a job, he goes to his job and he has to do what he has to do. But he's just like us. He's chill dude. He's funny. He's mixes with his friends, with his family. So you're way more relatable. And in business, that's gonna pay off in the long run too, because it's like you're gonna gain so many fans because of that. Because you're just like one of us. You just happen to fight and be really freaking good, Like that's basically it. So yeah, man. Let's talk to basically wrap it up. Let's talk about the next goals that you have. You have this fight coming up, but what the future is you being a champion at 155. Right, that's the goal. That's the goal. Do we have a time frame with it? Do you feel like it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen? How do you feel about that?
I have a plan. As you could tell, I talk with my coaches, we have a plan that in 2 years, 3 years, I might be like fighting for a title.
Okay.
The goals right now is win this fight. Then next year, at the beginning of the year, have another fight, either in Mexico City, or we already have a couple of names that we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight Michael Johnson or Claudio Puelles in my next fight.
Mm-hmm.
Then won that fight, and then my next fight, the next year, be facing somebody in the top 15, and then work all the way, like in all these fights. And we'll have the names, That's funny.
This is kind of where you're.
Yeah, I already have the names.
Of you do.
I have the plan.
I like that. I like that because you're putting it down and you know what the plan is.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because I even wrote 2 years ago that in 2 years I wanted to have 5 UFC fights. Already I finished performance bonuses, and I do pretty much. Yeah, with this fight I'm gonna complete all that list.
You have affirmations, affirmations, right? Like this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do.
And I just do it. Yeah. So we have a plan. So I hope maybe in 2 years, 3 years, I'll be fighting for that belt. Because right now I have 3 wins in a row.
Yeah.
But in my division, that is one of the deepest divisions.
Yes, it is.
There's been guys with 12 wins in a row that doesn't
so
fight
155,
for title.
right? 155. Who's at 155? Who's the champ right now?
Islam Makhachev.
Who's the number 1 contender?
Arman Sarukian.
Arman Sarukian, that's true.
And
so
Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Justin
Gaethje,
Max
Holloway.
Yeah. So it's a top division. So I know that I have a long run ahead, but I'm ready, And that's funny because now I don't put that pressure on myself. I just go one fight at a time, one name at a time, and I know I'm ready. I'm working on the stuff that I need to work, and I just have faith that I'm gonna become champion. It's just more of stay disciplined and patient.
Keep learning.
Exactly. Just keep that white belt mentality. That's what my jiu-jitsu coach was saying. Just
keep that white belt mentality. I love that. That's a really good one. Keep that always, no matter where you're at, always willing to learn.
And no matter what you're doing, rather fighting or doing business stuff or whatever, just keep learning.
Keep learning. And you're going to see an example of him, how his journey's going to play out. I 100% believe in all the foundations, all the values that you have. 100%, man. And I don't think things happen for a reason. That's what I believe. And this is why you're probably in this podcast is exactly what we talk about. Just having faith, always learning, always trying to be the best, always being humble enough to receive messages and to learn and be better and use them in whatever skills that you want. I'm sure people are going to gain tons of value from this, tons of value. And we're looking forward to keep watching your journey, man. I'm so happy.
Thanks,
yeah. Any last words that you got for the audience? Any thank yous, anything?
No, thank you all for watching the video, for giving the time to getting to know me better. I'm sure that I'm gonna be world champion sooner than later. We have a plan, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. You people just keep doing what you're doing. Focus and discipline. Believe me that it's how it is. You just need to keep constant discipline, focus, and focus on yourself most importantly.
Amen. Thank you, Daniel, for being on the show. Make some noise. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. I want to thank Daniel, this media team for being here. Adrian, Brian for making the trip to Las Vegas. Appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Share the video. Follow Daniel on all his social medias. We'll link them below. Make sure to follow his YouTube channel as well. Super great content. Give him a follow. You'll enjoy the journey. Promise you that. Have a good one.
Woo!
That was a good one.